with Carl Haggerty, who is an enterprise architect, I think,
That's correct,
in Devon County Council, working inside the council on communications, but out into the community as well. So what's the kind of realities that you see in engaging service users in the development of services so they work both inside and outside the council world?
I think my perception anyway is that I think for a lot of service managers, I think there's an element of fear in what people may say about how services should be delivered. I think as well, in the current climate, a lot of people are concerned about, just simple things like a service manager may be concerned that someone may say, why are you even providing this service in this way altogether? And I think there is a massive shift in maybe how services could be provided, maybe jointly with communities themselves, involving technology in ways we never thought about, access to information, all the kind of things that are happening around at the moment. And I think there's a kind of some service managers live in kind of bubbles of purity, and that their services are okay, and they're kind of, it's about something they're very proud of. There's a kind of a bit of an empire there. And sometimes people take it personally, which is a natural human thing. If I started to talk to you, David, about things that you were doing, that you were managing, people naturally take things personally. And I think we need to kind of separate the kind of actual service design and delivery away from the people who are delivering it. To say this isn't about how, this isn't about the people delivering stuff. This is purely about how we can deliver it better, how we can make those people who are doing it now more effective, or reuse them in different ways, or even start to engage members of the community to start filling gaps that the organisation can't fill. So essentially redefining that social contract with them. But I think there is a fear about what they may say, and accepting that and kind of running with that. And I think it will take a bold service manager to step out of that bubble and say, I want to hear, blank sheet of paper, wave a magic wand, what would this service look like tomorrow morning if we could make everything right? And I think that's a big scary thing for people.
Do you have some hunches about the way people may access services in future? Is it going to be more mobile, more use of mobile apps? Are we also going to be getting more services really developed by the users themselves, because they get smarter at how to search stuff? So how far is it going to be, well, let's get our services online, and how far is it going to be, actually, it's going to be quite a different way of doing things?
Yeah, I think it's the latter. I think it is a completely different way of looking at stuff. I'm not convinced that there will be a dominant platform, to be honest. I think if you go into communities, different types of services will have different models of delivery, and in very different geographical areas. I think the key thing is about understanding how a community or a bunch of service users, I hate that word, but service users, what's their preferred channel at this stage? And I think we need to see service design and development as a continuous iterative process and not a one-off. So we suddenly develop a mobile application and think the job's done. We need to constantly review whether that's being effective, whether new channels are being effective, whether our consumer base or our customer base has started to migrate themselves from a channel perspective into different channels that we're not even aware of. So, if internet TV really starts to take off, how are we going to make our services adaptable and scalable and interoperable across multiple channels? From a technology point of view, we need to start understanding the potential and designing some of the technical solutions in ways that are present, from a presentation layer, whether it be mobile or web or customer service center. We need to kind of take that presentation layer out of the loop and just design packages of services that can be republished into multiple presentation layers. So we need to kind of work backwards with people on that one. But I think we are looking at a completely different step. I think communities are naturally going to get more involved in services themselves. If you take street cleaning and stuff like that and community pride, why can't they be a bit more proud about their local areas themselves, start getting out there, maybe making their local areas look more attractive, planting trees, maybe, the kind of civic pride aspect of that. And I think this is where we need to start to have that adult conversation with our communities about times are tight, you know, we either don't provide this service at all, or someone needs to step in, and it's the community at the end of the day who will need to decide what services are important. And that's going to differ across the country. So you'll find some councils being experts at kind of user involvement and community-led social networks developing services, and others may be great at mobile apps, because that's how the community is around those geographic areas. So I think, you know, research and analytics and all those kinds of things, you know, we need to do a lot of that as well.
What does that mean, finally perhaps, for the relationship between people accessing services locally and people going into a government front end to this and finding stuff locally? Quite challenging, I guess, when you've got so much diversity.
Yes. I think if it's affordable, I think an increase in choice is always a good thing, but I think we need to back all these decisions up with metrics. I think we need to understand the volumes of people going into certain channels and understanding the value that that's delivering the council taxpayer, the ratepayer. And if it's offering value, then we need to learn from that and maximise that investment. I think in terms of, you know, a single portal to hit, you know, to end all portals, I think they have their place, but I'm not convinced that that's how people work. I don't suddenly think, you know, it's great to know that they're in one place, but unless they're available across multiple channels, it's more about a distribution model and a brand as opposed to a single destination. I think it's more about knowing that if I need to access a service, a brand attaches to me, and then I can find that brand in my appropriate channel. And I think that's the challenge. It's about channel shift, channel migration, and a choice. I think that's essentially where.
So a lot about understanding the way in which people are becoming more sophisticated about using the web, and helping those who aren't sophisticated become better at it.
Yeah, and making those services available across all methods, really.